Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. Hello guys, well my name's Alexis as you already know, and today we're going to talk about my top 10 favorite wrestling couples. Now, something I want to point out before we start the video is the fact that I'm not ranking them because of their personal lives or what we know if they look cute. I'm talking about the characters or the gimmicks that we saw on TV. The ones that I like the most, but remember everything is TV related. I'm not talking about personal lives, so if we're talking about a reality show or maybe some dramas, I have no idea about that. This is pure wrestling. Just letting you know. So, without further to say, let's start with this video. On my number 10, I'm going to choose Mike and Maria Kanellis. Very important, I'm choosing their TNA run, where Mike arrived as the Miracle and Maria arrived as the First Lady of Professional Wrestling. I really enjoyed their heel work there. I believe it's one of the best they've ever done, and I like the fact that on Impact they decided to give them the opportunity to show how good of a heels they were in a major promotion. I really enjoyed especially Maria's run as the VP of the Knockouts, as she was very bitchy. She was trying to mess with everyone, trying to make them feel very uncomfortable, trying to make herself be above all of them. Mike won the X Division Championship with the help of Maria, as she was not only causing chaos on the Knockouts division by being the VP and basically doing whatever she wanted, but she was also interfering in matches as a manager to help Mike get ahead in his career. So it was very nice to see a very good heel couple just debut but get a lot of TV time, and not only TV time but major storylines, as one of them was champion and the other was basically like a general manager for the women's division there. So I really enjoyed their time in TNA or Impact. So sad that they left with that weird wedding segment, but I have no complaints. The only reason they are not higher is because I wanted to see more, because they had so much potential. Sadly, when they moved to WWE, I thought they were going to get a bigger window to show what they could do. Sadly, it was the complete opposite, so they are my number 10. When it comes to number 9, I'm going to choose a new, well, at least new for me, let's point that out, a new couple that I'm falling in love with because they look so good, their gimmicks are so good, and they also have a lot of chemistry together. And I'm talking about AEW's Kip and Penelope Ford. So this couple is of course a heel couple. You already know that I prefer heel over faces. That's why I'm falling in love with both Kip and Penelope. I think they bring so much to the table, because usually when we talk about couples, the woman is thrown to the side like a sidekick and a valet. In this case, they are even. Both Penelope and Kip have the same amount of opportunities, and they try to cheat for each other in the same level as well. So it's so refreshing to see that men and women are seen as equals in a couple, not one of them being the shadow or being overshadowed by the other. That's very cool, very refreshing. I love that they are not only good heels, but they also can go with the comedy part. I remember once Kip was in crutches, but he still came down to help Penelope in a match. I found that very refreshing. He's always trying to making her look good, and she's always trying to make him look good, and I think that makes an excellent duo. Maybe in the future, they could be higher on the list, you never know. For number 8, I'm choosing a couple that I wasn't sure if I wanted to put them on this top 10, but I will just because of one match that I really like from them. And I'm talking about Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. So, the time that we saw Becky and Seth on screen together was a weird period of time, I would say. I'm not sure if that was beneficial for their careers or not, to be honest. I don't even know how to explain that. It was simply rare. and even worse or even stranger when you saw that Seth was wearing a shirt that says the man's man. I didn't know how to feel about that. Anyway, back to the point. So the reason I'm putting these two here, one, because they were massive baby faces. He was the Universal Champion and she was the Raw Women's Champion. And the match that made me like them or made me put them on this list is that Extreme Rules match against Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. I would say that match was amazing. It was half an hour of non-stop action. I really enjoyed the fact that Baron Corbin, at least at the end, even if it was just for a small period of time, attacked Becky, and that makes Seth go nuts. I think that was very, very well done. I didn't like the whole storyline, but I would say that match was a great showing for both of them, and I really could get behind them, especially after the end when Brock Lesnar attacked Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch came to give him some comfort as they defended their titles, but Brock cashed in and took Seth's title away from him. So it was a very nice touch when the female was the one standing tall, trying to, you know, take care or cheer up the man that just lost the title. So they won my heart in that match, and I would put them at number 8. So now we go for number 7. And on my number 7, I'm choosing a very specific time for this couple. They are Rusev and Lana. And the time I'm talking about is when Rusev and Lana formed Rusev Day as they were baby faces on SmackDown Live. I really enjoyed their face run. They were so good. I really prefer Lana and Rusev as faces. Not only they were so over with the crowd, Rusev creating Rusev Day, and Lana creating Lana is the best, Lana number 1. Lana is the best, Lana number 1. But they were so much more likable than I expected them to be, because we have seen Lana and Rusev as heels for so long that I didn't think I could personally get behind them after everything they've done, but they proved me wrong, and I really enjoy when wrestlers prove me wrong. That was also a great time for Lana to show what she could do inside the ring. Lana showed a lot of improvement inside the ring. I also like they were paired up with Davey English. They were like comedy characters, but at the same time they could go in the ring, as Rusev is amazing in the ring and Lana was improving. So I really enjoyed that time. I really enjoyed their feud with Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas, and I was so invested to see what was going to happen as Aiden English basically just turned on Rusev and Lana. I was expecting to see a little more of that feud. Sadly, it got scrapped, but I really enjoyed Lana and Rusev as baby faces on SmackDown Live. So they are definitely my number 7 spot. Spot number 6. So, going back to Impact once again, I'm going to choose Davey Richards and Angelina Love. This is when Angelina just came back to Impact and she turned heel that night when she returned. Their feud against Eddie and Alicia Edwards has to be one of the best I've seen in a very long time. That was a couples feud, but was so well done. And a lot of couple feuds, they are good either inside the ring or story-wise, but this one was great both ways. The storytelling was so good, as Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards were former tag team partners. Davey was feeling a little bit overshadowed by Eddie, and Angelina Love was there to make sure Davey would not forgive Eddie. Angelina was kind of like a vixen in that feud, and she was destroying Alicia Edwards, as Angelina Love is a veteran and Alicia Edwards is basically a rookie. So that was so interesting. They had a brutal tag team mayhem match. It's kind of like a hardcore match between two teams. Even though Angelina and Davey lost the match, they had a great showing. Not sure what happened after that, as they both left the company, but I really liked their time on the Impact as heels, as a couple. They were very sexy together as they had a lot of kissing, a lot of touching, but at the same time they were great in the ring. And I love when two things are blended together and they end up being an amazing product, and that's what Angelina and Davey brought to the table during that match, that feud, that run for them, and that's why they are in this position in the top. Number 5. Probably the only couple in this list that is not really a couple. They were just an on-screen couple, but they were so iconic together. And as soon as I say this word, you're going to know who I'm talking about. Mamacita. Because I'm talking about Eddie Guerrero and Chyna. They were so amazing. They broke stereotypes. Let's start with that, because Chyna was not an eye candy by any means. She was a tough girl, and she could play the girly side, but at the same time she was so tough in the ring. She was fighting for men championships. This pair had the best of both worlds. They could be seen as a couple. Eddie with, the Latino heat, charisma, trying to show what a gentleman he is. With Chyna, she's a woman trying to take care of her, give her flowers, puppies and stuff. But at the same time, when these two got in the ring, they were ready for business. It was no joking, no kissing, no flirting. They were there to kick ass. Eddie, a spectacular in-ring performer, one of the all-time greats, as well as Chyna, the night wonder of the world. I would say it was so awesome for me, not only to see the chemistry that they had and the amazing story they were telling, knocking down doors for stereotypes. Also in that SummerSlam match when Eddie and Chyna fought, Val Venus and Trish Stratus, and the winner was becoming the Intercontinental Champion, and they let Chyna win the title over Eddie, and Eddie agreed to that and he celebrated with her. And that's an iconic moment just because of the fact that they were putting a girl or a woman over the male superstar for the first time. Let's remember, this is back in 2001. So we're talking about a time where women were not really getting showcased that much, as this was a male business. But Chyna broke the stereotypes, Eddie helped a lot, and we got a great on-screen couple with a lot of charisma. People loved them. They were amazing in the ring, and at the same time they were all in for breaking the mold of what we thought a couple in wrestling should be. So congratulations and rest in peace both Eddie and Chyna. Number 4. Despite loving heels, I think this couple really got a special place in my heart because they were the ultimate baby faces, but I really enjoyed them. And I thought they showed a lot of personality, the storyline was great, and I'm talking about Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. We are talking about 2014 when Daniel Bryan won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30 and started to feud with the Authority, who wanted to strip him from the title. Loved the way that they basically insert Brie Bella in the rivalry, which let Brie and Stephanie had that iconic match at SummerSlam. I would say Daniel and Brie were so full of charisma. I really think Brie tells a story way better than Nikki, and that was shown during this feud. Daniel was so over with the crowd because he was not only a great in-ring performer, but he also had all the talent to connect with the crowd. This is the time when the Bellatons were breaking from the mold of just being twins. I think Brie found a way to get the WWE Universe behind her when she started to act more like herself rather than just being a twin with Nikki. So this period of time was amazing. Also, Brie against Stephanie was an iconic match, and not like wrestling wise, but story wise. Let's remember that even people that usually just watch the men wrestle were interested in this feud and in this rivalry. So I would say that definitely during that period of time, Brie and Daniel got me behind them, but they did such a great job that I was so into them, and that needs to be recognized as at least a number 4 in this top. Now, speaking of that iconic rivalry, if Brie and Daniel were my number 4, the heels need to be my number 3. Therefore, my number 3 spot goes to the Game Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. I couldn't choose just one period with them. I think them as a whole, since they started like being an on-screen couple back in 2001, 2002, until their Authority run and everything they've done in between, I would say Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were so good together. I prefer them as heels, of course. The run that I enjoyed the most was the Authority one, but that doesn't mean their other runs were bad. I would say they have a lot of chemistry together. They were so good at complementing each other. They also looked very good together. Their entrances at WrestleMania were so great as well. I mean, there is not one that I dislike. You can't deny how much these two have done for the company, and those wedding segments in the early 2000s were so good. At the time were the most important storyline. They make storylines look good. They are causing a reaction on the fans. And that's what wrestling is all about. You need good faces and good heels. And I think this couple was very good portraying both. Besides, who can be a more iconic couple than Stephanie and Triple H? They're just not my favorite, and everybody loves or hates them, but they know them. We move to my number 2. They were the top heels of the division on Raw in 2005 and 2006. With this information, you probably know that I'm talking about Edge and Lita. Such a great couple. They had amazing characters. They had a lot of chemistry. The way that they got the fans to boo them so much and to hate them so much means they were doing an excellent job at being heels. Lita turned heel betraying Kane in a match to give Edge the win, then they start kissing. They had a lot of rivalries together. The one I enjoyed the most being the one with Matt Hardy. Of course, they had personal issues with him in real life. I really enjoyed the TV feud that we got. My favorite segment with them would have to be the live sex celebration, just because it was something we haven't seen before and we will not see again, not only because like WWE is now a PG show, but also only Edge and Lita, as they are rated R, could pull off a segment like that. I love the way that Lita got involved in Edge matches. Regarding of the consequences, she got there with a lot of tough dudes like John Cena, D-Generation X, Mick Foley. That reminds me, that iconic match in WrestleMania 22 between Edge and Mick Foley was a hardcore match, and Lita got there with a baseball bat, the barbed wire. She set a table on fire so Edge could spear Mick Foley through it. I also enjoyed their run when they were both champions. Lita defeated Mickie James for the women's title, and Edge defeated John Cena for the WWE title, and they were basically the king and the queen of Raw. There was no denying, nobody could top them, nobody could beat them, and I cannot think of a better couple to be in my number 2 spot. So definitely Lita and Edge, one of the greatest couples in WWE history. Okay, so of course, probably a lot of people is going to disagree with me on this one, but that's why this is my top 10. But feel free to tell me in the comments who do you like and if you agree or not with this. But this has to be my favorite couple from the past 5 years probably. They are so good. They are heel. They look amazing together. And I would say they are hilarious as well. Miz and Maryse have to be my top couple. Now, the reason for this is because since Maryse returned the night after WrestleMania to slap Zack Ryder's dad and giving the opening to the Miz to defeat Ryder and win the Intercontinental Championship, from that moment until Maryse got pregnant, they were pure gold on TV. Maryse helped elevate Miz a lot. She gave him a lot of credibility as a manager, as she was looking for different ways to cheat so Miz could keep the Intercontinental title. Their promos were fire. Miz is awesome at cutting promos, and Maryse was getting better on the mic as well. The only thing that I didn't like from this run is the fact that Maryse didn't wrestle enough, but I would say they were so entertaining with the Miz TV segments or the backstage segments. They could tell a story. Miz could go in the ring, Maurice was getting better on the mic. I would say they were the it couple, at least for me. I've never been so interested in couples, to be honest, especially in couples feuds, but I would say Miz and Maurice brought everything they needed to keep me invested. Miz and Maurice were one of the all-time greats in my book. They made that WrestleMania storyline with Nikki and John interesting as hell. They were the reason I really wanted to see the match. So I would say Miz and Maurice have to be my number one couple in all of wrestling from all time. Alright, so this was my top 10 of wrestling couples. I would really like to know your favorite wrestling couples down in the comments. It was really tough for me to do this video because I didn't really think that I had enough couples to make a top 10, but then when I was starting to remember all of the couples that I've seen in history, I realized that yeah, I kind of like a lot of couples. We're already more than 110 in the channel. It keeps me motivated to post more videos. I'm trying to do it weekly. Sometimes it gets tough because, you know, life is tough. My name's Alexis, as you already know. Here's my Instagram if you want to follow me on that social media, and I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.